Hello again! This is PC Delta Link, back with more of our Enigmatica 2 Let's Play Normal Mode. This is episode 100! Woo! I can't believe we've done 100 episodes of this thing. But as you guys already saw, yes, I have a proper title page now for my videos. And yeah, a proper cover page for it. It's great. And yeah, I actually commissioned an artist several weeks back to design that for me. Because my artistic talent is basically drawing stick figures, so I definitely wasn't going to be doing any of that myself for this episode. And it was really great working with him. He basically just asked me what colors I wanted, if I had any particular design choices in mind, if I had a tagline, and have at it. So I basically told him I wanted blue and white for the colors, and I wanted the Delta symbol since, well, PC Delta Link. So I wanted the Delta symbol, the little triangle with the thicker border on one side. And I wanted that for incorporate into my icon somehow. So he actually came up with a tagline, that linking others to games. I didn't come up with that. I didn't have a tagline when he asked me for that. I just left that blank. And he threw that in there on one of the concept art pieces he gave me. You know, he gave me like a couple, okay, here's some ideas I've got. Here, and he sent me, 4 or 5 different pictures to look over to start with. And that was on one of them, and I was like, that's awesome, and that's perfect, and we are keeping that. That is a perfect thing to use for this. So yeah, he was really great working with him. It was from the website Fiverr.com, so I will toss a link in the description to his user page in case you guys, well, if you need any of your own artwork done for that kind of thing. But yeah, he was really great working with, very quick on communicating with me. Very accommodating to the multiple edits I had that I requested during the process of creating this. Prices were very reasonable. So yeah, he was great. I'll throw the link to his user page in the description so you can go over there and have at it if you need him for something. And there will also be a world download for this world after this episode to catch you up with what we get to show off in this episode. This episode, we are not doing blood magic. Similar to episode 50, we are going to do some cosmetic work on the base. I've spent the last several weeks working on this. Well, I shouldn't say several, about 3 weeks I've spent on this. And I didn't get everything... Oh, lag. Come on, game. There we go. I didn't get everything done I wanted to get done, but I got the great majority of it done. So we're going to go through that in this episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy what I get to show off for this episode that makes the base hopefully look a lot better than it did look in certain places. Okay, one of the first areas I wanted to focus on changing this time around for our cosmetic overhaul was definitely our AE room. This was in episode 50 when we last did a really big cosmetic overhaul to the base. This room and the Draconic Evolution room were 2 of the last parts of the project that were worked on, and as such, I really was just over it by that point. I was tired. I'd been working on it for a very long time, so these rooms just got a very basic upgrade and nothing else done to them, really. So I decided to start with these 2 rooms this time because I just felt like they needed better than what they got last time. Because, I mean, in here, I am well, I'll get back to that later. But yeah, and here we got, our cables are just kind of everywhere. There's not much I can do about the cables, unfortunately, at least not in this room. And that's actually because of the glass ceiling. I may end up changing out the ceiling later on because then I can hide these in the ceiling. But for right now, these are kind of stuck this way. So this room's kind of the same. It was just not finished. We have parts of the wall that are just open, and behind this we have all our cabling everywhere in here. It's just a mess. It's not pretty at all. And then the Draconic Evolution room, the biggest problem we had last time we looked at this was finding blocks that would work for decorating this room. And we really weren't having much luck. So yeah, these couple rooms were definitely the first thing I wanted to fix and try to at least make them a bit better. I wasn't sure how much I could actually get done, but it was definitely something I wanted to try first. So, alright, let me show you guys the new room. Alright, for our overhaul of the AE area, the main thing I focused on was just adding some depth to the walls, making them a bit fancier, prettier looking, whatever you want to call it, and, you know, adding more marble textures, you know, some staircases in different spots to change things up a bit. We sealed up the floor over here. We covered over the cable that was exposed. We went with a different color block here. This is, well, it's painted cobblestone, but this is Menril, which I'm not going to get into how to collect this stuff in this episode. Instead, just like episode 50, I'm going to have a small mini episode after episode 100 detailing kind of how we created some of the stuff we used for this, because it would take too long to go into that during this episode. I don't have time. So yeah, that'll be one of the things we'll cover in that episode, is how to get it, what to do with it, how to actually get the blocks that you can work with. So alright, yeah. I had originally tried the same blue alabaster / blue concrete. I think it's mainly blue alabaster we've got in our base. But I'd originally tried that down here, and I actually didn't like it for some reason. I'm not sure why. I suspect it might be the colors that this ME controller cycles through, and that dark blue is not really on there as much as light blue is by comparison. But yeah, I just didn't like the blue alabaster here. In the Menril, I really liked the color. It seemed to go really well with the marble in this case, so we went with that. And the thing that was, like I talked about, the cables are a bit of a problem in here. You can't really, there's not a whole lot you can do to change some of the stuff with the cables the way they are. But yeah, it's just something you got to work with. I am actually considering moving the ME controller to a different room than this. I don't know where I'd put it yet, but it is up for consideration. I kind of like the glass ceiling, how we can look down on from above and all that, but we're really never over here to look down on anyway. And it just might be better served if it was in a different spot. Or maybe if the ceiling was gone, if I was able to hide almost all the cables in the ceiling, that would also work better. So it's stuff to consider. I'm not even sure where I would put it yet, but yeah, know that it's on the table for possibly moving it. Alright, the next area back here, the molecular assembler room, you'll notice it's much cleaner. All the cables on the ceiling are gone. We got cable facade in different spots hiding them now. The wall's closed up over here, so you can't see all that crap anymore. It just looks a lot cleaner. I couldn't really do as much in here as I wanted. You'll notice there's only one little splash of Menril over here. And that's because, you know, we have all the cables and stuff back here. I can't really dig into the walls for that very reason. It just wouldn't look right. And if, like, these were sitting next to the wall and then you had, like, one block back and behind, it just wouldn't look right. So I didn't think about that till I was already halfway through the project. But, yeah, there's not a whole lot I can do with this room. I did make it look a lot cleaner, so I'll have to take that as my little victory for this time around. But for now, that's the only little splash of color in here. Alright, the final room for this little part was the Draconic Evolution room. Now, I'm not 100% sure I like this yet, but this room also ran into problems. So, I love the color, I love this is purple alabaster, painted cobblestone, and orange alabaster. I love the colors because this pretty much exactly matches Draconium and Awakened Draconium, so that's perfect to go with the room. But the problem is, the fusion crafting setup, using the fusion crafting injectors on the walls and whatnot, the same problem as I had over here. I can't dig into the walls because of these. I can't really shove the walls back or anything like that, at least not this time. And I was kind of running out of time when I figured this out. I've messed around in this room so much trying to get something better. And, like, I experimented with pillars in the corners or some stuff along the walls, and I just didn't like it at all. None of it worked. And, like, another thing is, at first, we had these two walls also colored, and it was too much. There was just too much color. It was to the point where I walked in the room, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. No, we have to tone this back. So I changed these two walls back to white, and just left it where only these two were colored. And then the other thing is, similar to this room, I couldn't dig into these walls over here for similar reasons. Like, we have our ME terminal over here, which, okay, that could be dealt with, but the wall's kind of tiny, and then you got the doorway. And then over here you got the glass window and the doorway. So you really can't do anything with these two walls structurally. So another cool thing that we have here is you'll notice this here is not cobblestone, it is a framed door. Framed doors can be colored with whatever block you want, and this leads to a nice little maintenance area. Our ME drives are across this wall here, so we can of course dig this out and expand it as needed to get more room back there. We have another door right here with a pressure plate to automatically close it for us. What in the world was that? That sounds... Oh, it's a basal's. Okay. My apologies for that interruption. Oh, meant to do that there. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I like the window outside. We'll make this a bigger window eventually. We kind of ran out of time on the maintenance areas back here. That's why none of the walls and stuff are done back here. But here we have access to the back side of the crafting areas. We've got access to the P2P tunnels and the crafting storage controllers and all that stuff. We have access to the other one over here, and then of course we also just dug it out and have access to our Draconic Evolution room. One of the cool things over here is that I found out you can actually, frame doors are considered 2 blocks, and because of that you can actually change both halves separately into 2 different color blocks, which is freaking awesome if you need to decorate something with that. So alright, I think that's about it for now. Yeah, I think we'll move on to the next area, so I will see you guys momentarily. Another area that I wanted to change was the original drill room and whatnot, and the hallways leading to it. This was originally going to be our smithing overhaul room. I am still planning to do the smelting overhaul for ore processing. I am still planning to do an overhaul for that, but this is a project that we're not ready to finish yet. What I am planning to do in the meantime, though, is, at least for this episode, this was one of the first big project rooms we made, this drill room, and I still like it overall. You know, the glass ceiling underwater, it worked great, and it was really cool at the time we built it. I really do appreciate this room still. And it's one of the biggest projects I've ever done by hand. But it could be better. The walls are pretty plain compared to how the rest of my base is. There's no, like, the pillars break it up the texture a bit, but that's it. Everything else is the same. The texture on the wall is the same for every block. I mean, yeah, it's kind of plain, and it could be a lot better. So, the floor is okay. I like the floor well enough. You can really kind of see some where the light, where it's not lit by glowstone, but it's decent enough. And there's painted glowstone here and there. There shouldn't be any spawn points in here. Well, except right here. And unfortunately, because of the way the drill's made, I can't change this. So, that's just got to stay there. Because the drill's so big, it takes up so much space, I can't have enough glowstone near it to prevent spawns toward the middle of it. But yeah, so this was another part of the project I wanted to change, was to augment our drill room a little bit to where it just kind of more matched the rest of the base and just was more fitting to go with the rest of it. So yeah, with that being done, let's go with what we came up with for the rest of this hallway. Okay, I'd originally started back here when I did the pre-recording because I had planned to get this hallway done, but we ran out of time. So, something I will show, we do have a proper elevator here now, and it's not just a fall to the bottom now. It has to be 2 elevators because you actually can't reach far enough with one. But yeah, we do have a proper elevator here now off the AE room, so we don't have to... It's easier to get up and down from here now. So alright, I am going to kind of look at the floor a little bit, because I want to kind of show this all at once when we get over there. Yeah, I am disappointed I didn't get the hallway done, but I just didn't have time. So, alright. We went from just plain flat textures on everything to something a bit more. So here is the big reveal. Sorry, it was not my intention to go with a Legend of Zelda thing originally, but I kind of just was for fun messing around, and I'm like, hey, can I build the Triforce? And we did, and I just loved it. So, yeah, we dug into the walls at different spots. It actually started with these. I tried a few different designs on the walls, and some just didn't, like a lot of the ones I was trying just didn't take. Like, let me have some cobblestone here. Like, for instance, we had different, layers across here, and none of it really looked right, or it just was, it was too samey. Like, our sections upstairs, for a lot of it, is very short sections. Like, we would have, the floor, then the color, and then another thing, like a couple blocks up, you'd have maybe 2 or 3 blocks of color. And you'd have that maybe once on the upper levels of this base. And that worked fine up there. But when I got down here, and I had that, like, say, in this wall, and I would have, like, 3 sections of the same height of the exact same setup with, a couple bits of stone bricks, then blue, then stone bricks, then blue, then stone... excuse me, then stone bricks. It was just too much the same. It looked really... I hated it. It looked so similar and samey, it was absolutely awful. So, just for fun, I was experimenting with different shapes in the walls. And I came up with this one, and I'm like, oh, hey, that looks like a rupee from Legend of Zelda. And then I'm like, wait, I can put these at all the walls over here, can't I? And so we did that. And we have our, blue alabaster, red alabaster, well, painted cobblestone, but green alabaster, and then purple alabaster. And then we save the middle for the Triforce. We had this built out of staircases at first, and then we remembered that there was framed slants in this game, which, again, I'll get into those more in the supplemental episode, but it allowed us to do perfect triangles, and not triangles made out of steps. So that was really cool, and I loved it, and it fit. I wish we had one more block on each side, give it a little bit more space, but it works. I like it well enough, and it works, and I love it. After all, I am PC Delta Link, and yes, Link, I was originally using Link as my name from Legend of Zelda, so yeah, it fits. These on the side, these hourglass shapes here, it kind of fit with the time thing, and again, I was just kind of playing around with stuff over here, didn't really know what to do, and then I just did this for the heck of it, and I had stepped back, and I was kind of like, oh, that looks like an hourglass. Let's keep it, and that was pretty much how that worked. So we did that for all 4 of the sides here. The doorways, unfortunately, we're kind of breaking some of our... I didn't build this room originally with cosmetic upgrades in mind, and I know more now than I did back when I built this room. Because, like, for instance, in Minecraft, especially for decorating, odd numbers are really good things to have. And, unfortunately, this is one of the spots where we have an even number. We have 6 blocks across here between these pillars, so I kind of had to make do as I could to make it work. This design above the door, full disclosure, I ran out of ideas. And I went with this, and I was kind of like, yeah, I like it well enough, and that was pretty much it for that. Yeah, I actually had a really hard time coming up with some of the other designs. Same thing with kind of down here. We didn't have a door to mess with down here, but I kind of ran into the same issue where I was really out of ideas for the shapes and ran out of time, and so we just tried this, and we were basically like, yeah, good enough, and went with that. Now over here, I haven't really shown as much, but this is stained glass. So this will let us look into the smelting overhaul room once we get it, and it just looks really cool, too. I matched it to where it's the same color across from its respective rupee, and just kept it that way. So, yeah, right now, some of these open onto walls. We'll eventually be expanding this in time, but for right now, it is what it is. This door was kind of interesting. This was one of the first parts where I was really kind of playing around with using glass instead of the solid blue alabaster. And I ended up liking it enough we kept it. Again, this is an even-sized doorway, which I don't really like as much, but I think it worked in this case. It's 4 blocks across. Because I believe the space between these 2 pillars here is 14 blocks, so that does kind of mess with some of this ever so slightly. And we tried a couple designs in the area above the door here. The biggest thing I was trying to make was something similar to the Triforce, but different shape, but I didn't quite manage to pull it off. And it wasn't, the space I was working with was not spaced properly for it. I needed it 1 block wider on one side, and I couldn't do that without, like, obliterating the room. So, unfortunately, it had to be scrapped. So, we also got rid of the cables that were across the room, and we just added in 2 more quantum entangloporters. Mainly because the cable was actually interfering with the Triforce. When you'd walk in, you'd have this power cable that was stretching across here. So yeah, we had to get rid of that. The Triforce, we actually, while these walls are all like 1 block deeper than the stone bricks, this one's actually 2 deeper, because the Triforce is on the first layer and the blue alabaster cobblestone is on the second layer. So it's actually a deeper recession in the wall there too. And the backside of these, unfortunately, are not finished, and for now, they just are as they are. Those blocks there are glowstone, painted glowstone. So, yeah, none of these will be finished yet. I gotta figure out how I would incorporate this into this room. I'm probably gonna have to do some widening of this room a bit, or just accepting the loss, because I can't really move these at this point. These are set, I can't move those. And also, when we actually get around to it, this hallway's going to be redesigned, because we're interfering with the back side of these now. So this hallway's probably going to go over to my left a couple blocks, so we're just going to dig into the wall some more over there, and just change where the hallway comes out at. So not a major project, but one that I definitely ran out of time to finish for this episode. Thank you, lag. Love it. So... oh yeah, and these blocks are yellow alabaster. I really like the vibrant colors that the alabaster provides, even if, and I can paint it, so I can use cobblestone, which is way easier to get. And these are yellow alabaster slabs, painted slabs in this case. So alright, let's move on to the biggest area of the cosmetic overhaul for this episode. By far, the biggest project we had for this cosmetic overhaul ended up being our nuclear craft room. This was on my idea list to change this for a long time now, and I just never got around to it, never had time for it. But, I mean, we haven't been in this room in a long time. Jeez, well, that must have been... I don't know what that was outside. Might have been a creeper or something. I don't know. Anyway. But, yeah, we just have basic torches everywhere. The walls are stone and cobblestone here and there. There's no cosmetic work of any kind. We don't even have a proper entrance to the room. We have a hole in the wall that drops onto the floor. And just nothing was ever done. Same with, like, the area over here behind our liquid-cooled fission reactor. And we got water dripping through the ceiling. It was just never done properly. Same with up here. And we did a window here. That was about the limit of our cosmetic work up here. But just same flat texture, same boring gray stone everywhere. Our back area is much the same with the fuel reprocessing area and the fuel reprocessing AE network. But yeah, pretty much all the stuff for that was... Here we go. All the stuff for that was unfinished. And we still got ore in the walls, for crying out loud. None of that was ever properly mined out or finished. And yeah, it's just stuff that kind of annoyed me. It worked, but it could have been a lot better. And yeah, our induction matrix down here. But, yes, we have done a decent amount of work on this since then, so I hope you... Oh, and one last thing I forgot, the biggest thing on this. The worst part of this whole thing was the entrance to the fusion reactor room. It was a hole in the ceiling. There's, like, very little in this room besides the fusion reactor. You can't even get down to the floor without going to certain spots. And it was just barely functional, and just didn't have a whole lot to it. And the entrance, you can't even, like, it can be tricky to even line up the spot to get out of there. There we go. But yeah, that was the biggest thing that I wanted to fix and change out. And yeah, we got just open wall right here. Yeah, this place needed a lot of love. So, alright, I think that's about all that I need to mention on that. So, alright, with that, let me show you guys what we've got now for our new room. Okay, without a doubt, the biggest overhaul and the thing that took the most time for this cosmetic overhaul was the nuclear craft area. I'd kind of teased this door in the last episode, but now I actually get to show this area off to you guys. So we have a big, large iron double door here now with a pressure plate to get us in. And we went nuts with factory blocks. And because we have so much stuff and they're easy to make, we did a lot of factory blocks. And I just realized this is still in the ceiling and that's supposed to be down here. Whoops! Oh well. Pretend you don't see that, yeah. So, yeah, even just the entrance hallway, I really fell in love with this sloppy plating block. And we went absolutely crazy with it and used our rusty plate blocks, our wireframe blocks. The floor, it's marble and painted cobblestone. The painted cobblestone actually is based off of dark steel blocks. And why is it dark steel blocks? And yeah, here, oh man, I just love this. Why is it dark steel blocks though? Because this is an elevator. We have a proper elevator in this room from the RF Tools mod. We'll get into how to set one of these up and how it works in the supplemental video, because that would take way too much time to explain that in this one. And how to build it, how it works, all that stuff. But the color's actually really close to dark steel, so that's the whole reason we have dark steel blocks for this hallway that are painted cobblestone. But we'll get into how the elevator works here momentarily. For now, we're just going to jump over the balcony and take you down here and show you what we got. So yeah, we just did a lot of like support structures, the rusty plate beams, the girders, you know, more the plating around the walls, making the room seem like armored, so to speak, to prevent in case of nuclear meltdown. We have some of our plates up here, our sturdy steel plate. So got that up there. The floor is actually laboratory blocks, which are another similar thing to factory blocks, and they are also really easy to make. And I liked the color well enough, and it actually, on a smaller scale, kind of resembled the floor up here. This is framed fencing. Like framed doors, framed fence can be used for... you can just color it with whatever block you place on it. We do have a metal ladder here from Immersive Engineering that you can use to get down here or get up if you don't feel like jumping for whatever reason. We had to move our maintenance hallway over slightly because of the elevator here. So we did our back area over here. We changed this out. Oh, meant to have that closed, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Yeah, we actually have a proper maintenance access over here now. And same thing with here. This all is together, kind of. There we go. Yeah, I meant to move this out of the floor and I forgot to, so yeah, just gonna deal with that. We now have an elevator in here to get to the room upstairs, which has also been redone and done in the same scheme of decoration as the area below. Same thing, we have our maintenance tunnel here, and let me see if it'll let me. Come on now. Get okay, or don't. That's fine, I guess. Seriously? Oh, there we go. So yeah, this leads to the maintenance tunnel here, and then yeah, you can just get into that if you want to, and so yeah, it works. This also leads to a different maintenance area. And then finally, the back hallway back here. Yeah, just had this a solid steel girder, rusty plate thing back here. Just redid all this. We moved the induction matrix upstairs. It was previously downstairs. And we decided to move it upstairs to have easier access to it. We need to move it also for a different reason that you'll see shortly. Added proper doors to access the maintenance areas back here. Yeah, we have a door here as well. And this leads to the other side of the induction matrix where the input and output spots are. This also leads back behind the screen. That was one of the big things as well. The screen's now properly sealed against the wall. You don't have all the cables showing again. So that's properly enclosed now. We kind of did some just random designs with the sturdy blocks along the walls in here because I wasn't sure what to do with it. So we just kind of did that and called it good. One area that did not get done because of two reasons. One, we ran out of time, and two, well, really that's the biggest reason. We ran out of time. The area down here. I had meant to do this. I had meant to get all this stuff converted, but I just did not have time. I ran out of time. The nuclear craft area itself... Whoop, come, get up. Seriously? Oh, I'm a moron, that's why. This is the one that leads to the area downstairs beneath this spot. I'm on the wrong elevator. This is the one that goes back up. But we had to move the induction matrix because it was interfering with the room below here. So that's the primary reason we moved it up here. But we ran out of time on this primarily because this took me ages to come up with something I liked. Once I found the factory blocks I liked and then kind of how to do it, then I had to figure out how to design the wall sections. And I spent so much time like trying different things, ripping it out, trying other things, ripping those out too because they didn't look right or I didn't like them or whatever. Just all kinds of stuff that it just took me a very long time to decide on what to do with this. So the elevator, like I said, I'll go into how this works in a different episode, but there's 3 floors currently. We are on floor 0, and then you just right click the floor you want to go to and it takes you there. And we can go back up. And now, finally, for the biggest part of this this whole overhaul process is the fusion reactor room. So the fusion reactor is on floor 2. I guess you could really consider it sub-level 2. So we'll head down there now. So I hope you guys like it. So here we go. Previously, it was kind of a hole in the wall. The fusion reactor room, it was, well, a hole in the floor really, but now the fusion reactor has a very large dedicated room to it. So yeah, this is our current fusion reactor room now. We have an area back here. This is for controlling the elevator. We'll get into that in the supplemental episode. I'll briefly kind of fly up here, and you can see there's the elevator block. You have to have that on each level. And then we kind of just went with more laboratory blocks in between, and this blue wireframe. I really liked this, and I wanted to use it somewhere, but it was a little strong of a color, so I decided to use it for accenting. Just here and there was a much better solution. So, yeah, we went with some laboratory mixed with some marble for the elevator shaft itself. And same with the ceiling, and here we went with laboratory. You'll notice the decoration here is a bit fancier for the plating on the walls. It's not the sloppy plating that we used up here. It's more these, it's called massive hexagonal plating. So we went with that for the armor plating, if you will, around the room. We did the floor the same way using, I love these caution frame plates as like, you know, caution, that kind of thing. Like dangerous area, whatever. We did these grates for like ventilation kind of appearance type things. Different designs using our sturdy blocks around the vents or above them. We ended up doing some real depth into the walls here. We went back usually 2 blocks into the walls. And then we had these pillars kind of on the side. And we angled bits from our framed slants again. Oh, there's an Enderman in here. Oh, he's just come to visit. We have these massive fans, which are a really cool block. They're limited by something in the way that they're programmed / made that I'll go into more in the supplemental episode. But I wanted to put more than those 3 in here, but I couldn't get the other ones to work. This was the only ones that I could actually set up properly. So these I would picture as like, you know, cooling this area, because I'm sure this would put off a massive amount of heat in real life. So our fusion reactor, now that we're in, of course, the higher pack, you know, we were in 1.74 when we built this thing, and now in 1.78, these properly transmit power across each other, because originally we had the issue where we had to have power on every single block for the electromagnets, because it just wasn't transferring power through them like it should have. You know what? He's gonna annoy me. I'm sorry. He's gotta go. Okay. He actually dropped a lot. Holy cow. A head and 3 pearls. We also have a small maintenance area. We have an elevator over here in the corner. And this actually leads to under the fusion reactor that we can get to down here. We can mess with a lot of the cooling from our active fluid coolers. We have access to a lot of that down here. Obviously, this is not finished. Another room that we ran out of time to get done on before the episode was due to be uploaded. Something very interesting that happened is we had a bit of an issue with our fusion reactor at one point. And I had the foresight to record what happened as it was happening. So I'll go ahead and play those clips for you now, and you can enjoy a few minutes of chaos over what should have been a fairly simple procedure. So enjoy. Okay, this is going to be a video for after I've shown you guys, but something bad happened down here. I don't know what happened. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, but our fusion reactor is kind of exploding right now. Yeah. We are leaking plasma everywhere. And the whole thing's just blowing up. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's blowing up. Oh my gosh, what a mess. I was moving the induction matrix upstairs up here because I wanted to move it to a different spot. And yeah, I needed it to be out of the bottom level where it previously was, because it was now kind of interfering with the roof of the fusion reactor room. And so I moved it just upstairs from here, just, you know, literally just right here. And I did switch over all the, oh my gosh, all the matrix, all the quantum entangler to a different power network before I changed it over. So that way there'd be no interruption with the power supply to this thing. But something clearly went very wrong. This is insane. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know. I'm got to rebuild so much of this now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I honestly have no idea why. We're getting power. The lines are still green. Can I get into the room down below? Well, yeah, I can, but, is this output or this was input? No, that has power as well. So what was the problem? Why did this thing... Oh my gosh. What the actual frig happened? Oh man, oh gosh, this is gonna take a long time to clean up. Well. Alright, well, I'm gonna get back to it. Oh jeez. Yeah, I actually thought, I heard the explosions, and I thought it was a thunderstorm outside. That when I was working over here, I heard the explosions, and yeah, I'm just like, oh, it's storming outside. It wasn't until I got this installed, I'm like, alright, let's go back and, we'll switch all the quantum entangler back over to this induction matrix, and then I walk in and I see this. Okay. Alright, I've got to fix this, since everything's filled with purple fusion goo and on fire, and I've lost a lot of the electromagnets. They've just blown up at this point. Yeah, I have no idea what happened here. Ooh, hey, one of them survived. Okay, yeah, this would be a nice little blooper to include with the the episode 100. Alright, I'm just gonna mine out what's left, I think, and just save what I can. This plasma is extremely volatile, and it tends to explode whenever almost anything touches it, it seems. Because I'm trying to just, like, place cobblestone down and get rid of it at this point. Yeah, like that. But, oh my word, what a mess. Okay, I lost the fusion core. I stupidly tried to mine it before getting rid of all the plasma, and plasma acts like lava, and it just destroyed the fusion core when I dropped it. So, yeah, fusion core's gone. I'm going to have to rebuild that. I don't know how many electromagnets we lost. It's safe to say a lot. I mean, oh my gosh, what a freaking mess. So the floor. See, I try to get something nice made and get it ready for the next big episode, and this crap happens. Of course it does. This is going to put me back a bit on getting everything ready for you guys, unfortunately. But, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Wait, what was this supplying power to? Oh, frig! Oh, no! That's what happened! I missed 2 of the quantum entangleporters. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had these 2 up top changed over to the drill power frequency, and I had well, really just 2 need to be done under here, not 3. The one that was the output, this one, that didn't matter because we weren't outputting anything anyway. But these 2 were changed over properly drill power. I missed the other 2. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these are both still on nuclear craft matrix, which the matrix was destroyed for the better part of 5 minutes. And from my experimenting, it only takes, like... Yeah, this setup barely was keeping this power to begin with, the electromagnets. So yeah, I am totally not surprised that this whole thing collapsed now like a deck of cards. Oh my gosh. I screwed up. Okay. Yeah, I didn't switch the power over. The electromagnets on the bottom portion ran out of power, and the reaction became unstable and blew up. Wow. Cool. Well, at least I know what happened. And I know who caused it. Me! So, okay. We will rebuild. We will make it better. We will fix it. So yeah, after it took me, that happened last weekend, last Saturday, and it took me most of the night at that point to clean this up and to fix it and to get it back running again. And oddly enough, the way I had it powered before the meltdown, I couldn't get it to work again. I literally plugged cables in and everything the exact same way I had it before the meltdown, and it did not work. I have no idea why it didn't work, but we had to completely change kind of our setup for powering this thing. So it works now. It's more stable than it was before. Yeah, everything looks it's a bit more recessed, so it looks a bit neater and tidier. So I do like the change I had to do to this, but it ended up being a lot. We lost, I'd said at the time in those other videos, I didn't know how many fusion electromagnets we lost. We lost about 2 stacks worth, give or take, if I remember correctly. It was a lot of fusion electromagnets I had to rebuild to fix this thing. It might have even been more than that, but we lost a very large amount of those. But in the meantime, though, we've got it back up and running. We're back in 100% efficiency, right at 256,000 RF per tick. Our cooling is at 99%, so about as perfect as it gets. So I really can't change that any better than that, but yeah. So I don't remember, we did have to originally dismantle this and move it to get it into this spot. Because, you know, originally it was accessed through like a hole in the ceiling, and that doesn't line up with the elevator. The elevator actually leading to this was kind of the decision that prompted the creation of this room, because I'd originally just built the elevator for this room, this floor, and then this area. And it was after I built these two that I'm like, wait, can't I just do this to where we go down into the fusion reactor room? And that kind of sparked the idea of like, well, let's build a room for this. And so we built a huge, giant room for this. The ceiling was actually the hardest thing for me to come up with in here, and I'm not entirely sure I'm happy with the outcome of it. I like it well enough. We got factory block blue circuits up here. We got our caution frame plate. We got laboratory tiles, and these also have slabs up here as well, here and there. But I really couldn't come up with anything else, and I think it works well enough. But this room ended up being a lot bigger than I had actually anticipated it being. But to give, like, enough room for the fusion reactor, and then, yeah, it takes up a lot of room. I left 5 blocks around each side of the fusion reactor, and then the fusion reactor is fairly decent size. So, yeah, this room took me, I want to say, the better part of a week and a half to 2 weeks to finish this. But, yeah, this didn't end up finishing everything we wanted for this, but overall, I think it worked really well, and I'm incredibly happy with how this turned out. Trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, yes. I was going to work on, I think it's this one. Nope, other one. I was planning to work on this room, but unfortunately we ran out of time. But the embers rekindled area was on my to-do list. Oh, where's this go? Oh, right, I forgot about that. Yeah, we have a small maintenance area over here for the elevator. That's right outside the door here. So, yeah, we built it to where you can only access it with a travel anchor. So, yeah, that lets us get access to maintenance for the elevator for this floor right here. So that's all hidden behind that wall right there. But yeah, the embers rekindled area was next on the list to get done, but it just did not get done. So, I apologize that that didn't end up happening, because I really want to do justice to that final area of the embers room, but that's going to have to wait a while. Let's see here. Oh yes, because of, there's a lot of stuff that's getting ready to happen at my workplace. We're getting ready to switch computer systems, and then I'm just really, I worked my butt off to get all this done as quick as I did. And yeah, I didn't actually decide until around episode 96 or 97 that I was even going to do anything special for episode 100. I had no plans originally, and at first I was just going to let it go. And then I think it was shortly after I posted episode 96, I was like, no, I need to do something for this, for episode 100. And so I've basically been spending pretty much every free second I've had on here between then and now to try to get this done in time for you guys. And of course, the times where I just had no ideas were not helping, because that just wasted time and delayed me even more. But I would like some time off after this, so I'm going to take 3 weeks off from working on the Minecraft series. So yeah, I'm going to take a 3-week break from this series, guys. I got some other games that came out that I haven't really had time to play, but I wanted to play them, like Monster Hunter Rise, for instance. And just stuff that I want to have time to do, but have not had time to do lately. I need a break from looking at blocks for a little while. I'll still put out the supplemental video for this episode. I'll probably put that out tomorrow, which would be Monday for you guys. So that'll be out, but then I'll be off Minecraft for a while. I might post some other videos from other stuff I'm doing in the meantime. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, Minecraft will have a 3-week break. I'm sorry that it's so long, but I got some stuff to do in real life as well that I haven't had time to do yet lately because I've been working on this. But it's stuff that I can't really put off any longer, so yeah, but we'll be back eventually, and we'll continue working on, we're almost done with Blood Magic, but we'll continue working on Blood Magic when we get back from that. So, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.